graduating high school, I will attend a four-year college. I have been considering a degree in sports management.
Okay. Okay, this is a picture of my facilitator, his wife and I. His name is Kent Fawcett. He's a neighborhood, or he's a family friend. He lives right down the neighborhood. He lives right down the street from us. He's participated in triathlons, biathlons, marathons, you name it, he's ran it. This is his wife, and she's just there for moral support. So, so we had our first meeting and we discussed footwear and like our race time. So for the race, we decided we would run the Gobble Jog, which is an annual race at Marietta Square, and the profits go to Musk Ministries. And for the footwear, he suggested that I go to the Big Peach, which I did, the one off of Barrett Parkway, and they have equipment that can test how you run, and they can see if you run on the inside, outside, or the middle of your foot. And so this is a picture of me here doing this. They decided that I have a neutral footprint, which means I run on the middle of my foot. And so they showed me a selection of shoes I could choose from with that footprint, and I chose these. So my typical routine would be I would run 3 to 4 times a week. I start off at low mileage, around a mile, and I work my way up to 6 miles. I would run outside in my neighborhood. I would run at Bowling Park. I would do ab workouts at the gym, and I would run on my facilitator's treadmill. And this is where my first obstacle came in. When it was bad weather or it was too cold or it was too dark, I could use my facilitator's treadmill, thankfully. And another obstacle I had was self-motivation. I found that I'm lazy at times. I didn't always want to run. So to help that, I would run with my facilitator or friends, and listening to music also helps. So for my product, I created an electronic portfolio that documented the pictures I took at my race. Okay, so this is me the morning of the race in Marietta Square in front of the sign. Here's a picture of my race number that I wore during my race. This is a picture of the race map. For the 10K, it required that you run 2 loops, which is highlighted in the purple. This is a picture of me at the starting line, like right before the race was about to start. This is a picture of the actual starting line. You know, there's a lot more people there than I expected there to be. This is a picture of me on my first loop, which is probably about the first 2 to 3 miles. And I was feeling pretty rough on those because I wasn't fully warmed up. And it was really cold out and early in the morning, so my body wasn't fully adjusted to that. And on the second loop, which was towards the end, I started to feel more comfortable, get into my groove, and I was pacing myself. And this is a picture of me right after the finish. My time was around 54 minutes, which is about a 9-minute mile, which I was actually just really proud that I even finished with, and I ran it without stopping, so that was good. And this is a picture of me shortly after. I started to feel sick to my stomach and nauseated, and so my mom decided to take pictures of me while I was throwing up my breakfast. This is a picture of the big screen that just shows the finish and all the people there. And also there's festivities such as a costume contest, and this man is dressed up as a turkey. And an Indian and another turkey. So this is the shirt I got from completing the race. And this is a picture of my facilitator and I. Another obstacle I found out was, 2 weeks before my race, I came down with a bad head cold. So I couldn't run for 3-4 days. So my facilitator said that I should take high doses of vitamin C, just drinking them from a packet. And so I rested, I stayed well hydrated, and I was back on it. It wasn't too much of a setback, and I got back on track. A few days before my race, I found out my facilitator couldn't run with me, so I had to run the race by myself, which I was disappointed in because I wasn't used to doing something like that. But I just sucked it up and ran it. So as a learning stretch, I'm used to participating in like high intensity team sports versus just running by myself. So where everyone's working towards a common goal in a team sport where this is just you running by yourself, and at this point I found that it's mostly mental. Another learning stretch was the self-motivation. I had to learn to motivate myself to actually run just for the sake of running. And I learned about myself that I can do anything I set my mind to, and I can complete a project of this magnitude. So, and as for my education goals, before my project, I was still going to go to college, and I still am going to college. I probably won't have sports in my career pathways, but I still plan to play sports, whether it's recreation or intramurals. So, yeah, that's my project. Do you have any questions?